Five, four, three, two.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Tamara Woodard. I am guest hosting on One Sister to Another for Pastor Angela Johnson. I'm so happy to be here today, you guys. Um, Today I have with me Khalid Scott, who is a mental health clinician. I also have Angela Johnson in the room for a quick moment. Maite will be joining us just shortly. Today we're going to talk about what's love got to do with it. Real talk love. Let's talk dating. Can we talk relationships and healthy mental relationships? So before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and let Khalid introduce himself. Khalid, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Tamara, for having me on the show today. I think today or this month is a wonderful time, not only Black History Month, but Valentine's Day is coming up to talk about both Black mental health and love and relationship. Khalid Scott, I've been a licensed clinical social worker going on 30 years, and I'm in private practice, and I work with both individual and married couples to help them solidify their relationships. And I'm very dedicated to my people and their
Okay.
mental health. So I'm here for an hour, and let's get rocking.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. Pastor Angela, what do you have to say for me today?
Oh my God, I am so doggone excited. First of all, welcome everybody to the room. Welcome to One Sister to Another, the show with information, inspiration, and godly revelation. Heard live right here on intellectualradio.com, iHeartRadio. And of course, my baby could have told y'all, she's my baby. I don't care how old she is, she's gonna always be my baby. Jay is now my baby too. But I want to thank God so much for Tamara standing in, sitting in for me. I'm here for a minute, but I'm telling y'all, I believe today's show is gonna be hot. It's gonna be epic. Can I tell y'all why? Number one, because we got the right host up in there. Come on, make sure I say my Miata's name right.
It's
My time.
my day.
My
My
time, my time, my tay, and of course my baby girl Tamara's in the room, but also because we stalked Khalid before we ever invited him, and so he's the one. Let me tell y'all what I love about this brother. So y'all get ready for today's show. He uncut, uncensored, don't mind shooting from the hip, and I like it. Okay, I'm yielding my mic.
Well, thank you, Angela. I miss you today. You know, I'm a little nervous, you guys, but we're gonna get through this. So last week we started this month of February, the month of love, and we had Bishop Greg Davis with us. Last week we talked dating apps, we talked about love, we talked about relationships. Khalid, what's your thoughts on dating apps?
All right, so I'll repeat what I told Angela last month that I am anti dating apps. Anti. Not only have I had a bad experience with it, not me personally, but my ex-wife met a gentleman on a dating app, and he was grooming my daughter. So, and then just hearing the horror stories about, and especially a lot of women I know who go to dating apps, and then I have a lot of guy friends who purposely manipulate women on dating apps. So
Wow.
I've never heard anything truly positive. And is it positive stories? Is it Disney movies stories being lived out on dating apps? I'm sure it is. But just for me, I believe in the old fashioned way. I'm 53 years old. I believe in meeting a black queen at a grocery store or a laundromat, or I don't know, at a park watching our kids or something. I don't know. But I'm just kind of, I just believe you get the true essence of a person when you meet eyeball to eyeball. Because I could be Denzel Washington on this computer, all day. But it's when you meet me and feel my essence and my vibe and my aura, then you really get to know who I am.
Absolutely.
I agree. I agree with that. This is my take. I recently started trying to do online dating. I don't particularly like it. I do have a profile now on Facebook dating, but I find myself when I do engage, I'm just answering the same questions. Hey, how are you? How was your day? Hey, how are you? How was your day? Send more pictures. Do you have more pictures? And I noticed that a lot of the guys on there are um they're not really, some of them, I can't speak to all of them, they're not really looking to get to know a person. They want to go by how you look first, and can you send pictures, and some of them just aren't genuine in what the purpose is. I have seen it where guys are on there and they want to just chat all day. Well, okay, I have friends for that. I don't really need any extra friends to chat with. And I mean, are we going to date, or do you want to go on a date? And of course, I agree with you in a sense, Khalid, because I am a little leery, because I don't know who I'm going to meet, and then is it safe? So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have to be protected. I just posted an article on my Facebook page last week. A young lady met a man on Facebook, not on Facebook, on social media, and come to find out he was married. And she confronted him, and she said, well, I'm going to let your wife know. And he killed her, And
Wow.
Angela got smart with me. She was like, well, it can happen in person. I said, okay, got you.
I agree with that. I mean, and that's what I said to one of my friends. I was like, well, hey,
No.
I don't like it because, a lot of people are getting catfished and everything. And, one of my male friends, good male friends, he's like a brother to me. He's like, well, might say that can happen in person. And I agree with that. But I think, as for me, I'm more so into getting to, I like the old school method of dating, actually. And someone said to me, you might say that's why you're still single, because dating have evolved. But I like the old school method of dating, where I meet someone, they see me in person, and they can make a choice on whether or not they like to date me, or whatever, as opposed to just putting, pictures out there. And I have heard of healthy uh, um, love stories. I mean, some of them are amazing. It just doesn't work that way, or hasn't worked that way for me, and it's just not for me. So, yeah, I kind of agree with you on that.
Well, for me, dating apps are no. I'm married, so that's not
What?
a thing that I get into. But if I had to date, it would not be on a dating app. That's just my personal preference. I would have liked to have met my person like I did, like I met my husband, just naturally, organically. Dating apps, they just not for me, and that's just my personal opinion. But I do know people that love them, that go on them, that have found people that have actually gotten married and have healthy relationships, which is great. But Khalid, I'm going to ask you a question now for the people in relationships and the married folks out here. What are some of the things that you think will help to continue to grow a relationship or your marriage in a good mental space?
Okay. Um, During the pandemic, that was life turning for all of us. I'm assuming everybody would agree. And
Absolutely.
it was the first time in our lifetime, because the last time it was a pandemic, 1919 with the Spanish flu, right? So now you had people on March 13th, 2020, we was at work. We did our thing. And on March 14th, 2020, we got the call to stay home every day, right? And if you were a couple and you were making it through, you had your routine. You get up in the morning, you take a shower, you go to work, you go to the gym, you go out, get your manicure and your pedicure, go grocery shopping, hang out with the kids. But you were able to stand each other because you didn't have to see each other other than when you got ready to eat dinner and go to bed. But now, 24 hours, 7 days a week, you're in close proximity of one another. And you was like, it used to bother me when you kept the toilet seat up, right? Now it gets on my nerves. It used to bother me when you kept hair in the sink and your pantyhose in the sink. But I could deal with it. But now I want to strangle you because I get tired of seeing your pantyhose in the sink. Then I would get these phone calls from married people like, Khalid, I'm about to strangle dude. Khalid, I'm about to kill my wife. Khalid, I can't see my mistress anymore.
Oh.
Because I can't see my mistress, I got to deal with her. So I was like, ding, ding, ding. I said, let me open up this private practice and cater to married couples.
And I'm sure you got good business in you.
I have a wait list. Been a wait list for over a year.
Wow.
A wait list over a year. And
Wow.
what I tell the couples all the time, because mostly I get wives who call me, right? Mr. Scott, Dr. Scott, I want my marriage to work, but this is it. We need therapy. And I say, well, tell your husband to call me because I can't do marriage therapy with a husband feeling emotionally kidnapped, right?
Right.
So I need the husband to be all on board with this, right? And so the husbands talk to me and they like, man, I'm willing to make this work because we're at the end of the road right now, right? And so what happens is I tell them on the first session, how much do you love you as an individual?
Okay.
Tell me from a scale from 1 to 10, how much are you in love with you? I never thought about that. I guess I'm a 7. Right. I need you to be at a 10.
Okay.
Because when
Okay.
you are in love with you, you'll give your spouse the best version of you. When it's below 7, you're giving them the worst version of you. So how can a marriage thrive if I'm not getting the best out of you?
Absolutely.
Right? Or if I ain't the best, but I think you're the best, I'm depleting you. I'm depleting you. And then the wives will call me like, well, Mr. Dr. Scott, we up in here because he cheated. I said, it's still a problem with you, wife.
Okay. Okay.
Mr. Scott, do I got to pull my knife out on you?
Okay.
No, let me explain. If your husband has cheated on you 1 time, 10 times, and you kept letting them come back in, there's something going on with you.
Okay, now that makes sense. I didn't know where you were going with it.
I follow you.
Okay, I got you now. I didn't know where you were going with it when you were saying it was her fault. Like, okay,
absolutely. And you know what? I know how to trigger people to like, what? But then I'll wrap it up and say, now, doesn't that make sense? Because this is the love of my life, my daughter, right? And I've been teaching her since she's been able to understand. You always got daddy's house to come back to. Heartbreak ain't your best friend, and you wasn't born the twin of heartbreak. So it ain't necessary.
Right. Okay.
And that's what I tell my couples. It's not necessary to be with somebody who breaks your heart on a daily basis.
Right.
There's some happiness out here waiting for you, but you got to believe you deserve it. So if you're in love with yourself at a 10, you won't tolerate mess. And that's the biggest part. That's the biggest chore of my therapy, getting people to love on themselves.
Khalid, I have someone who asked a question off of Facebook, Miss Sheena Johnson. She says, define what you mean by emotionally kidnapped.
Right. So, husband, you have cheated on me. I cannot deal with this no more. What happens is that we're going to go into therapy, whether you like it or not. Babe, I don't want to do therapy. I don't need no bald head dude, Khalid Scott thinking he gonna dissect me. You know, Well, if you don't, you ain't coming to this bedroom, right? You ain't gonna get no dinner, right? I'm gonna break your car windows. And some other stuff gonna happen. All right, babe, dang, I'll go. Man. I don't need that husband in front of me as a therapist because he won't give me his all. Okay. He will not give me his all. So people have to come to therapy freely.
Okay.
Have to come to therapy freely. Like, I want to do the work. And see, if you ever watched Iyanla Van Zant, I don't know if any of you watched her show before.
Yeah.
I'm the male version of her because I got to get to the core immediately.
Of what's really going on. Okay.
I don't have time to play because you're paying me $100 an hour. And I'm assuming you want me to get to the core of what your issue is. I don't have all this paper on the background for nothing. I don't have all this paperwork on the background for nothing.
Hey, Tamara.
Yes.
can I jump in for a second?
Absolutely.
What I will say is that first of all, Khalid, you guys are just doing an excellent job with really breaking it down, and I love the fact that Mai Tai and Tamara asking you to go deeper about, because y'all do know we were on with him. We were on with him, and he said to us that about husbands and wives, y'all, that both of us are at fault, so to speak, for the divorce. And my time, that's what I asked him. I said, man, what are you talking about at the end of the day?
Right.
And even though I still don't agree with that necessarily, I have to agree that Khalid, you've dealt with this crap, right? Let me also say this though. What I find about us African American women at times, y'all, I'm African American. I'm not another culture, so I can talk about me. Is that
Okay.
sometimes we're afraid to meet ourselves. So I'm not loving myself the best I can love myself. Now I'm one of these sisters here. Finding out a husband cheats, he could have came back to me. But this is how I'm wired. I'm made this way. Somebody else may not be wired that way. However,
Amen.
what you won't come back to me with is you won't come back without telling me the truth. You hear me, Mai Tai and Tamara?
Yes.
You gonna tell me the truth. Now check this out. If you do not tell me the truth, Khalid, then you won't be coming back. And so that's what happens. You can't tell me the truth. I didn't say I can't forgive your stuff, because at the end of the day, I am a Christian, right? And I've done some stuff myself, right? I don't know if it's added up to everybody else's, but I have done
Right.
some stuff. But you can't come back not telling the truth. So I do love myself in that degree. I yield my mind.
Does it I'm sorry, does it make a difference on how you find out? So like if he came and confessed and said, "Hey, I cheated," or is there a difference in you finding out on your own some type of way? Is there a difference on how you will handle the situation?
I think that was a question for you,
I'm
Angela.
sorry for you, Angela.
Okay, so say it one more time. My time.
Okay, are you able to hear me? Can you hear
I can
me?
hear you. Uh-huh.
Okay. I was asking, based on what you just said, is there a difference in how you would treat the situation? Like if you found out on your own, or if they came and confessed, is there a difference? Like your reaction,
I, I,
or how you
uh,
would treat?
I don't know one man on the planet who gonna just tell you he cheated. Not one. I don't know
Well,
one.
I don't
But
know
what I
about that,
not
Angela.
one. But what I
I
will tell you is this right here. And let me put this out there so the heavens can hear. A brother don't leave his wife for a car,
huh.
for a job, and for another house. A brother leave his wife for a chick that maybe will do some stuff that you're not willing to do.
Hmm.
Would it have been a difference had he come told me versus me finding out? I think maybe so. Maybe so. Because for me, now you still deceitful as all get out, but maybe you are honest. Am I making sense a little bit with that? No,
Uh,
Martha?
come on, a little, come a different way.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, he still was deceitful. See, anytime you already got a hookup, you already with somebody, and then you go dip, right? What you just did was you just lied in some way, because what you did was you told me I was the end all be all, but then you stepped out with the sister who did what? Okay,
Mm.
so now you find out on the other side of that thing, the grass really isn't any greener.
Okay.
Okay, I'm yielding my mic.
Well, what do you have to add, Khalid? Anything you want to say?
Also, after when we deal with the self-love part, I typically and my partner, and I'm the private practice, we both understand the importance that we have to recommend to the husband and wife to do individual therapy, right? Because we find that people come into relationships with a bunch of baggage, right? And it's not the clean baggage. It's not a Louis Vuitton or a Coach bag or a Gucci bag, right? It's laundry bag full of dirty clothes, dirty underwear, dirty socks. And you putting your dirty laundry with my dirty laundry, and you're getting what? Or you putting your dirty laundry with my clean laundry, and the clean laundry gets dirty then, right? So we got to bring the clean laundry with the clean laundry. So when you open up the basket, it smells ivory soaps good. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I tell my couples, I give them homework every week. I might have them to watch a movie like The War Room, where it talks about a Christian couple going through some struggles, right? And how they came together because the wife decided, my faith really has to kick in, right? In order for this marriage to work, because I'm married to an arrogant man, right? And again, I don't let the wives off the hook, right? Because the one gift that we know we get from God is choice, right? It's choice, you know. And again, yes, you can forgive your spouse for anything they do under the moon, but if you're going to forgive them, you got to forgive them 100%. You can't keep berating them for what they did in the past, because you gave them the open door back, the open invitation to come on back in. So you got to forgive them, forgive you, forgive anybody else included in that, and keep it moving and start doing better. Then, guys, we got a responsibility to our children. We are role modeling these dysfunctional relationships in front of them.
Okay.
Right? So then when our kids go out and our daughters get with Tariq and he treat them less than, or our sons get with, Tamisha, and she treats him less than, Mom, what did you role model to him? Dad, what did you role model to her? Right? And so we gotta do something different, or I'm going to continue to have a profitable business because of the dysfunctions going out here in the world, right? And then the mental health piece, guys. We just watched 5 black cops kill 1 black man. Let me sit down and meet with all 5 of those black cops, and I bet you I could tell you some horror stories, because that just didn't happen that night. That was a buildup. And most cops are not required to go into therapy. But you would think cops should be the first people sitting at a therapist's couch, right? Because they have to witness every day they go to work. As a therapist, I see a therapist quarterly because I got to do check-ins, because I'm intaking horror stories every day.
That's good.
Right? And then relationships. Anytime I make a post on Facebook about relationships, I get 1,000 likes, right? I could talk about the love of God and get 2 likes, right? We're so used to toxicity and salaciousness, right? That we've normalized it, queens. We've normalized it. I had a client that I was working with, right? And she made a checklist of all the good qualities she wanted in a man. And I said, if this guy happened to be Bartholomew, right? She was like, who? I said, Bartholomew. Who? I said, Carlton. She said, who, a nerd? Yes. But he has all 17 of the qualities that you want in a man. She was like, I don't think I can mess with him, Doc, because he got to be cute.
Wow.
Wow.
So Khalid, not to change topics, but I have a young lady, Tina Bennett, who's on Facebook. She's asked this. She said this: I haven't had but a few boyfriends. Those few cheated and lied to me. I know that as a younger woman, I was gullible. As an older woman, I'm still here being too nice, too understanding, and not arguing. I'm not good at arguing, but I'm good at explaining myself. Do I need to become a hardcore wife or girlfriend so he doesn't take advantage?
Okay. So everybody take out a pen and paper, right? Okay. So we have alter egos, every one of us, right? So I'm Khalid, the social worker, the good guy, the daddy, the friend, right? Good guy. But I have Keontae. That's my sinister side.
Okay.
That's my ghetto side from 76 in Essex on the southeast side of Chicago. And he's no joke. What I had to learn a long time ago, instead of fighting Keontae, Khalid versus Keontae, I had to incorporate Keontae into Khalid's life. So when I'm not brave enough to tell somebody no, Keontae kicks in and like, tell them no. Tell them no. You tired of being used by people? Tell them no. No. He gives
Okay,
Khalid the bravery, right? So for the caller who just said, I'm a real nice woman and you got to go and get Tamika and incorporate your Tamika into your regular life because she will make you brave. And guys, we all know this. The quicker you set your boundaries and your parameters and you be firm with people, people get a respect in you that quick.
that's true.
That's true.
That
And
quick.
no is a complete sentence, right?
That quick. That quick. You still be who you are, but again, you pull out that alter ego that just tells you it is not okay for somebody to hurt you. Because that alter ego is protective. But we know what that alter ego is capable of. So I can't have him 100% Keontae because I'll be shooting up people, right? But Khalid, the nice guy, really needs him to hug on me and to push me to do a little bit better for me and my self-worth and my self-being and my self-protection.
Or you can just leave the relationship because, I mean, if that's a fear of yours, I mean, well, I'm not telling you to leave, but if that's a fear of yours and you feel that you're not being treated properly, you're not being treated right. I mean, should we always have to go to our alter ego? I mean, why can't we just walk away?
Because most times we don't. I do domestic violence counseling, right? And when you're in that 40-hour training, one of the first things they tell you is never tell a victim to leave a perpetrator. Do you know why?
Why?
Because that victim knows what the perpetrator is capable of, rather than you, a counselor sitting in the office.
Okay.
She knows that I might get killed if I try to pack a bag and leave him.
Okay.
So what you do as the counselor, you give them the tools, the resources, right? So that when they know the best time to leave that perpetrator who's destroying them, then they'll leave and they more likely won't come back. Because what we find is domestic violence victims, they tend to date a pattern of men. So she'll meet another man who will beat her up. And she'll meet another man to beat her up. Why? Because I saw my mom getting beat. I equate love with a fist.
Wow.
See, it's all mental. It's all mental. Never tell one of your girlfriends who's going through it, leave. Say, you know what? I got an extra bedroom. Just call me on the cell when you're ready. And that's it.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
people need to feel empowered when they're making choices for their lives.
That's pretty good. I mean, okay. That's why you're the expert. I'm not. I mean, I'm just the guest co-host. You're the expert. I'm just saying. So to the young lady, I'm not telling you to leave. Khalid said, they'll tell you to leave. What's her name? Whatever your name is, Maite did not say leave. You know, listen to Khalid.
I lost her comment as they keep
But I have a question. I want to go back to what you were saying about the kids, right? When you were saying, when we were talking about modeling our relationships in front of the children, for the sake of the children. I remember when I left my ex-husband, in my mind, right? I'm doing the right thing. I'm going to leave this relationship because it would be great for my kids to see us living happily apart than miserably together, right? My kids hated me for that. And I really thought I was doing the right thing, for them. It took a long time for my kids to be able to grasp the fact that my mom broke up our family. So what do you say to someone who may feel the way that I felt? Hey, it's better for the kids to see us living happily together than miserably apart. But now the kids, don't understand. Khalid, what would you say? I mean, how can they, navigate through that? What are some of the things that, or some of the tools that they can use to, help to say, hey, well, you know what? You still have, mommy and you still have daddy. It just looks a little differently, at this time. How can you help someone through that?
Right. So you have to meet your kids where they are, right? So when I got divorced, my daughter was 10 years old, right? So she 10 years
Mine too.
old, fifth grade, right? And
Yeah.
so what happens is I'm a clinician and I'm a social worker, right? So I had to social work my daughter during that divorce, right? So what that looked like was I talked to her every day. Even when she said she didn't have anything to say, I said, Anaya, sit down. This is going to be life-changing for all three of us. So you do have something to say. Sweet pea, you're not going to hurt daddy's feelings. And then I reinforce, Anaya, our divorce has nothing to do with you. Nothing.
Absolutely. That's good.
Me
Okay.
and mommy are in two different places. And we love each other to let each other go. We love each other to let each other go. But our love for you is 100%. Then when the divorce took place, I put me in individual therapy, her in individual therapy, and me and my daughter did family therapy together.
Wow, that's great. In our in the Black community, therapy is
Kind of like taboo, right?
yeah, therapy is taboo for us. We always say go to church or pray. We're not really taught to go and talk to a therapist, or go and try to talk it out with somebody who's a professional that could help you. It's almost like that's the sin to go and see a therapist. Like, are you crazy? So, Khalid, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, let me tell you, the tide is turning now. I told you after the pandemic, people was like,
Mm-hmm.
if I fall down on a flight of stairs and break my ankle, I'm going to the urgent care or to the emergency room.
Mm-hmm.
But now, if this muscle right here is not working right, maybe I do need to see that bald-headed dude with the big beard, and hear what he has to say to me, because I'm not feeling right. When mental illness starts knocking on your front door, it disrupts your life. You don't have any type of joy.
Mm-hmm.
It takes away your happiness, right? You don't want to go to work. You don't want to get out of the bed. You don't want to hang out with your kids. You don't want to have sex. You want to sleep in a room with all the curtains pulled, right? And that's no way to exist, right? And so people are saying, it's like majority of my clients now are men, Black men. And why? Because they was like, man, there's finally Black male therapists out here. I did not want to talk to a woman about my wife. I wanted to talk to another dude who looks like me.
Absolutely.
Let me throw this out. Last holiday, not 2022, but 2021, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I had 7 Black men call me regarding suicide ideation. Queens, what do you think what do you think the number one thing was for all 7 men? The issue of why they wanted to commit suicide.
Was it money?
No.
Okay.
Were they in an unhappy relationship?
Yes, their wives.
Wow.
All 7 of them. And I asked all 7 of them, brother, do you have children? All of them had children. I said, so say if you didn't get a hold of me and you really had a plan to commit suicide, what about your sons and daughters? All of them was like, I didn't even think of my kids, because suicide is a selfish demon. Suicide isolates your thoughts and says, you're tired of hurting, aren't you? You're tired of feeling pain. You're tired of hearing her nag you. You tired of her not coming home cooking for you and complaining about everything you do as a man. Kill yourself. I'm here waiting for you. 7, and these weren't no 20, 30-year-old men, 40s and 50s. One guy had the gun in his car seat. Called me at 1:00 in the morning. I stayed on the phone with him until he drove to the hospital emergency room to get checked in.
That was great.
Now, you wouldn't think men would kill themselves because they arguing with their wives, right? You would think like, okay, he gonna get a mistress. He gonna go and drink some cognac. Men are feeling it now. They're feeling it because we got everything that's our home base. When you keep saying, men keep saying, bring me my peace. Bring me my peace. Baby, bring me my peace. But you know what black women do? Hear all that shit. I don't want to hear all that. You do got peace.
Khalid, so what are some of the things you think as women, black women, that we could do to assist our husbands, our boyfriends, our significant others? What are some of the things that you would recommend us do in those situations?
Hey, got your pen and paper out, ladies?
Absolutely. I'm ready, Khalid.
Number one, love you first. Stop looking for him to fill in your voids.
Okay.
Stop looking for him to be the daddy that you didn't grow up with.
Mm.
Stop blaming him for what Tyreek did when you were 18 years old. You married him. You got into a relationship with him. The red flags was there when you was dating him. You thought when he put a ring on your finger and you became his last name that he would change. Men are real clear. We're going to be who we are from birth canal to gravesite.
Okay.
Think about the men you've been with. If you sat down with all his previous girlfriends, y'all would be like, he did that to you. He did that to me.
Okay.
Men are consistent.
So what you're saying is what we see is what we get.
Yes.
Okay.
The sad thing is that okay for you.
Okay.
Men are crystal clear. You can see through this bottle. What happens is women put the Kool-Aid, the red Kool-Aid in. Where you at? Where you at? I can't see. You put the red dye in. He's clear. If he cheated on every other woman before you and you met him while he was married to his first wife, how you? And guys, you might ask me, Khalid, where you get this from? My mother was a mistress. I grew up seeing a married man come to my house for 16 years.
Wow.
Mr. Lee paid our rent for 16 years.
Not Mr. Lee.
Why do you think Mr. Lee paid somebody's whole entire rent for 16 years? Because he didn't get peace at home. My mother was 25 years younger than his wife. And when I saw a picture of his wife when I became an adult, his wife looked like my mother's mother. She was my mother's twin. He found a younger version of his wife who made him pork chops, greens, and sweet potatoes and had his brown leather house shoes at the front door. And he paid her back by paying her rent and raising me, her son.
So that's where he found his peace, was at your home.
At my house.
Okay. I follow you. I follow you. I follow you.
Now, women will fight me on this. I'm a man telling you all how men move. Ladies, I had a bunch of my boys come up in my living room, sit on my couch, and confess. I'm the one that tells them, brother, stop what you're doing and go back home to your wife. Man, Lyd, you don't get it, man. I do. I was married. And I'm divorced now. I don't want you to go to the 30th floor of the Daily Center. I don't want no married couple to know what that floor is. You do know what that floor is, right?
Of course I know. I've been there.
Oh, okay. That's divorce court. That's divorce court.
There.
I have 5 friends going through divorce right now.
Well, yes, I've been there.
Going through, and we're in our 50s. This is supposed to be your life partner till you leave. But we getting it now. We like, no. My couples that I'm counseling, 3 of them have decided to divorce. And it's a good thing because the counseling either says, we're going to make this work, or you know what? My happiness is my accountability. not yours. So I got to leave.
So I have another question. Rhonda Johnson on Facebook. She says, "Why do we believe they will change?" And I'm assuming she's meaning, why do we women believe that men will change?
Yeah. See, ladies, this is something else you do. Y'all mix up pillow talk with the real deal, right?
Okay.
When he laying down next to you and you don't gave him a nice, chicken and macaroni and sweet potatoes and cornbread and iced tea dinner, he real sweet to you. But then he gonna go back being Keontae. See, Khalid is the one that lays next to you like, baby, I love you, baby. Mwah. But Keontae, see, y'all keep thinking that's one person, and it is. But we have an ebb and flow. I'm gonna still be the jerk if I'm a jerk, right? If my own mama couldn't change me, who is you? I didn't come out of your birth canal.
Wow.
And then remember, men get flirted with on a daily basis. So we'll always know, you keep your mess up, I'll get with somebody. Or if I do cheat and you keep letting me back, what have you taught me as your husband or as your boyfriend? You signed an invisible permission slip for me to cheat on you again. Man, I'll just take us some roses. I'll sleep on the couch for 3 weeks, and that's all I'm going to give her. I'm going to give her 3 weeks, and then she better get her mind back right. I'm having real talk with you ladies about men.
Yes.
I'm friends with them. Told you they come and sit on my couch, and I hear the real deal. I hear the real deal. And don't think it's no secret sisterhood out here. You got cousins sleeping with their cousins' husbands. I know someone who has a baby by her sister's husband.
Wow.
Her sister's husband. So don't you tell me what men and women ain't capable of doing to get their needs met. That's why I said at the top of the hour, when you have a love affair with yourself, when you holistically love yourself, you cannot tolerate garbage.
Good.
And you will see it 10 miles walking towards you. And you'll be like, no, I deserve better. I deserve better. That's what we got to teach our daughters. That's what we got to teach our daughters. Or we going to keep. My grandfather had 5 kids outside the marriage. And he beat my grandmother every day of her life. So my mother and auntie and 2 uncles grew up seeing what? Dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother had me by a married man. Because my mother was like, I'm not getting married to no dude to do what he did, what he gonna do like my dad did to my mother. And my grandmother was the biggest Christian in Chicago and a nurse. She was the sweetest Black woman walking on the south side of Chicago. But it didn't stop my granddaddy's punches. And he slept with 3 of her friends and 2 neighbors and had babies by him. So can't nobody tell me that we got to keep taking that dysfunction, ladies. And if you real boss chicks and you got this pride about I'm a strong Black woman, act like it. Hold us men accountable. Because when you do, we'll act right.
That's good.
We'll act
So
right.
Khalid, I have another question for you. This person, she's actually my sister cousin friend. She says, do you think men will change for a woman they truly want and desire?
Temporarily.
Temporarily.
And eventually, right? I got a buddy right now. He been cheating on his wife for 25 plus years.
Wow.
25 plus years. But when he got sick, he had some act right. When he got sick, he had some act right.
Mail.
But then as a wife, how does that make you feel, right? That
Right.
it took you to get gravely sick in order for you to treat me well as your wife, the mother of your child, the one who built this house with you. Now, are there some amazing couples out there? Yes, it is. Yes, it is some amazing couples out here. But again, you got to get to a place where you say, I deserve the best. The couples I know who are doing well, respect is at the front door of their house every day. God is in their house every day.
That's good. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay,
love
Khalid, I got-
for self. Love for self.
Absolutely. Thank you. And then one more question, Khalid. It says, this person, Miss Rhonda Johnson, says from Facebook, she says, do you think that because many of us that didn't have strong fathers, we are not doing a great job of getting rid of poor men?
What happens is anytime you have a deficit in your life, it is human nature to want to fill that void, right? So, or you overdo it, right? Right? So what happens is I never had a dad, right? I had Mr. Lee, who was my pseudo dad, but my birth father was never in my life, right? So what happened was when I had Anaya, I became super daddy. Why? Because it was based on my deficit. I did not want my beautiful daughter to know one day of how I felt as a kid without a dad, right? So it's normal to say, I want this feeling that I didn't get, that I was robbed of. But when you're trying to fill in a void with something invisible, right? So let's go with the dad thing. A daddy is supposed to be your first hero, the first man you love. But what element that's not supposed to be in place with a daddy's love, right? Romantic love, right? You're not looking for romantic love with your daddy, right?
Right.
So why do you want a man who you are romantically involved with to be daddy?
Wow.
He can't. He's supposed to be daddy to your daughter, not you.
That's good.
If I'm with a woman, I cannot require her to be mama. Kathleen Scott did okay with that. I need my wife to be my wife.
My wife. Absolutely.
Not my mama. And see, us men get that mixed up. Babe, my mom used to cook for me 7 days a week. You came out of her body. You came out of her body. Of course she cooked for you 7 days.
I am not your mother. All right, so this is going to probably be our last question. We are off in about 9 more minutes, you guys. First of all, thank you everyone for joining us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. We really appreciate you being with us today. This last question is probably going to be very controversial, but I'm going to ask it anyway. This comes from Lawrence Turner. It says, what's your position on polygamy?
Okay, you ready, people? Take your pens and papers out. I've learned as a social worker, right, that I can only plant seeds, right? I can't give you the fertilizer and I can't give you the water. I can only give you the seeds and put them in the dirt, right? You have to decide what water and what fertilizer to pour on those seeds to make them grow, right? Right now, I have a companion. Me and my companion, we are not boyfriend and girlfriend. We're not engaged. We're not getting married. We keep each other company. I'm going over to our house tonight, and we're not calling it a Valentine's dinner. We're calling it a dinner. We've been together for 17 months, right?
Okay.
We have not had one argument. Why? We manage our expectations of one another. And remember, we haven't given each other a title. Now, have I ever done this before in my whole entire adult life? Never. I'm a relationship guy. From 19 up until I got divorced in my mid-40s, I was in relationships. But I argued, I fought, I broke up. With and I used to call her buddy with benefits until those sisters told me, Khalid, don't call it that, because that sounds bad, and you a better dude than that. So we're companions. We keep each other in good company. That works for me. I'm not telling nobody. I'm not prescribing that medication to nobody else. I know what works for me. I just lost 90 pounds, right? I lost 90 pounds. And you know why I was able to lose 90 pounds? Because I'm not under stress. That woman I'm with does not cause me stress. I have peace, right? We've never even spent the night at each other's house. So I'm giving y'all real talk right now, right? Because
Wow.
spending the night at my house, that comes with requirements. So she go home, I go home because I am protective of this peace. I'm protective of this peace in this house.
So then it takes me to my next question for you, Khalid. Would you ever get married again?
Never, never.
You said that very quick. Why not?
Because we don't know what love is for another human being. We don't know what love is I've been a social worker for 30 years. 25 of those years was with DCFS.
Oh.
How do you have a baby and you choose a man over your baby? Answer me that, ladies. I don't carry a child. How do you love a man over your child? How do you let a man molest your daughter and you stay with him? How do you marry a beautiful woman who gives you everything and you cheat on her or beat her? We don't know love. And my daughter came to me a couple of weeks ago. She said, because she's seeing a therapist because she's a pre-med student. And she was like, Daddy, I want to date now, Daddy. But Daddy, even though you tried, I don't know what a good relationship looks like because you and Mommy divorced when I was 10 years old. You know how much that hurt me hearing my child say that to me. But then I thought about it. I grew up, seeing a mother who was a mistress. My ex-wife grew up with a substance abusing parent who the granddaddy married women and divorced and married the mistress. How many of us, my granddaddy cheated on my grandmama and beat her. How many of us got those happy stories? And I don't want to hear the speech, my grandparents been married 52 years. Sit down with grandmama and tell me what she went through with granddaddy before you give me that speech.
Wow.
Well, okay.
Until we start doing better, and maybe we'll start doing better with our kids, then marriage is an investment. But right now, guys, and I may be tainted, but I just don't see it. But that's me. And I get paid hundreds of dollars to see it.
So are you okay with your daughter being in a relationship that mirrors the one that you're in now? I mean, you said that you don't desire to, a couple of things, a few things, and you can answer them all.
Yes.
One, what happens if said companion decides one day that she wants to be married? And then also, are you telling your daughter that, hey, it's okay to be a quote unquote companion for the rest of your life? Because it's very safe, it's peaceful, and you can achieve goals because you're not arguing. I mean, I'm divorced. I've been divorced. I was married 10 years. And when I left my marriage knowing that, hey, I want to be married. It's just that I can't stay married to this particular individual. I had to make a choice, him or me. Again, I lost myself in the marriage, but yes. I do desire marriage again. I know that marriage, to me, is a beautiful thing. There are healthy, happy, striving marriages, and I desire to have one. And
Absolutely.
So, I mean, those are my, I believe in marriage. I do. And I believe that it can be successfully done. I believe that you can be happy in it. And again, I want it. I do want to be married again. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Right. Okay.
You got about 2 minutes.
I got 2 minutes, so I'll make it real quick. I do marriage therapy, so I am invested in marriages. If I was anti-marriage, I wouldn't do marriage therapy because I wouldn't believe in it, right? Remember I said, I don't want to see another couple go to the 30th floor. I keep saying, me, Khalid, my journey has taught me these lessons with love and relationships, to love me and have peace in my home. That's what I'm teaching. my daughter, do I want to walk my daughter down the aisle with a beautiful wedding dress and me in a black tuxedo looking fly? And I'm going to dye my beard black so I can look good on her wedding day? Absolutely. But before my daughter gets married and after she's married, I want my child to be happy.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm teaching her. I don't want her to be broken. I don't want my child to be broken. And that's what we need to be throwing out there in the atmosphere. Because she's always going to have a bedroom at daddy's house.
That's good.
But
well, Khalid, thank you so much. I don't mean to cut you off, but thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you. We see you every first Saturday of the month. Thank you for sitting in and talking to us. Maite, thank you for guest co-hosting with me today. I'm going to end with this, you guys. I read a quote today that says, you're in a relationship to be happy, to smile, to laugh, and to make good memories, not to be constantly upset, to feel hurt, and to cry. Choose a relationship that's going to lead to growth within yourself and your love for one another. On that note, guys, we are One Sister to Another, the show with information, godly revelation. We thank you for joining us today. We hope to see you next Saturday, 1:00 p.m. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
great show. Great.